Welcome, Super Formula fans from around the world, to the official qualifying session for round 9 of the 2022 Super Formula Championship, coming to you live from Suzuka Circuit. My name is Len Clark, and alongside me in the commentary booth is former champion of this series, JP de Oliveira. JP.
Hello, Len. Good morning, and good morning to the viewers around the world. We're excited for this final round here at Suzuka. Obviously, you can see great weather, great skies, beautiful day for racing.
Absolutely. Just fantastic. Can't wait for all the action to get underway. We've also got Leah Mizumura down in the pit lane, bringing us all the action from there. Hello, Leah.
Hey Ren, JP, this is Leah from the pit lane, and I'm here at Suzuka Circuit, and it's pretty warm and warmer compared to the average year. And then we have a wind, which is a tailwind, and it is really bright and sunny today. And I heard the wind direction this year was kind of irregular, so some teams seem to have a problem with the aerodynamics. Back to you.
Thank you very much. Let's take a look at rounds 7 and 8 now, some highlights. Of course, you'll all remember this is Naoki Yamamoto's comeback in the rain in round 7 at Motegi. Very exciting indeed. JP, your thoughts?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Motegi in the wet, as you see, Ryo Hirakawa there getting caught in this treacherous conditions, very difficult, and Naoki Yamamoto back to winning ways. So yes, a strong round for him. Yamamoto is always a strong driver at Suzuka as well, so it'll be interesting to see how well he does in here in the last round. Obviously, they want to finish the season on a high.
Absolutely. And here we see in round 8, the following day, it's the Sunday, and of course it was the battle of the impulse. Take it away, JP. What an exciting afternoon it was.
Yeah, some great moves there. Ryo Hirakawa, you could see in the race how much he was charging, and he got to his teammate, but it was so difficult to make that move past Sekiguchi. Sekiguchi, always a difficult driver to overtake. You see how Hirakawa is so aggressive and almost going off the track there, hitting the curb, and just not enough for him at the end, but an exciting battle and a 1-2 for Team Impel.
Yeah, fantastic result, I must say. And there he is, Sekiguchi, after the win. Excellent stuff. Taking a look at the points rankings now. Tomoki Nojiri, of course, is well out in front, 32 points ahead of his nearest rival, Sasha Fenestras, followed by Ryo Hirakawa, of course, in third, and next Makino in fourth on 55. But it's really about the top 3 drivers and that they've taken it away from the rest, the other 18 competitors so far this season.
Absolutely, yeah. Nojiri, you see there with such a huge margin at the moment. I mean, the other two will hope that he has a bad weekend here at Motegi at Suzuka so that they have a chance. But Nojiri doesn't have many bad weekends, so it's a tough weekend for them to catch up on those points. But they have to believe, they have to try until the end.
Absolutely, and do well, but knowing or judging by how consistent he has been all season long, it's going to be decided today, unless he doesn't finish. We're talking about Nojiri, of course, and if he doesn't finish today, although he has finished every single round this year, then his rivals have a chance. We've got his interview in Japanese. Just for a moment, please take a look.
印象というか、まあそれが一番かなと思いますね。まあこのダブルヘッダーとして2戦があるっていうところで、まあ言ってしまえば流れをつかめなかったら逆転もかなりあるんじゃないかと、僕自身は逆転される可能性も結構あるんじゃないかと思ってるんで、まあそこを乗り切るっていうのがどれだけ大変なことか、まあそれが自分たちが一番よく分かってるっていうところですごくこうピリついてるなと思いますね。まあなんとしてもその目標にしてたチャンピオンというものが形にできるように、精一杯やるだけかなと思っています。
Great stuff. A little paraphrase of his interview there, feeling the possibility of his championship being turned around. He was talking about and realizing how hard it is to overcome the pressure, and that he's a little more nervous this year going into the last round than he was last year when he won his first title, and just going to do his best to try and win the title this weekend. He's just going to focus on winning. Moving forward now, after his interview, next up, more comments, I suppose. We'll have another interview in a couple of minutes, but prior to that, let's go back to what this all means. I mean, if Nojiri finished second later on today, and Hirakawa or Sasha beat him, and either one of them also was on pole or second place, if Nojiri came second, he would still win the title by 1 point. That's how dominant he's been so far this season. That 32-point gap is huge. And remember, 13 of those 113 points that he's got were earned during qualifying sessions. So he's earned more than anybody else in qualifying. For your information, Sasha Fenestrez has earned 7 points and Hirakawa 9. But the 13 points that Nojiri has amassed in qualifying really sets him apart. And we can expect that he'll do well in qualifying today unless something untoward happens.
Yeah, well, we've seen Nojiri having some difficulties in free practice yesterday, which is unusual. You know, he wasn't too strong, and also in interviews after qualifying, after free practice, he mentioned he wasn't very comfortable with the car and he was feeling pressure, which is, you know, something that amuses me a little bit because, you know, that's such a big point difference. I think he should take this weekend without putting himself under that much pressure. You know, he's already opened that much points. And
exactly. Maybe it's self-generated pressure.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it's funny how things work sometimes. If things are coming, looks like they're going to come too easy to you, maybe that builds up a little bit more extra pressure. You know, so the others, on the other hand, are feeling like they can be more aggressive because they feel like they have that nothing to lose attitude this weekend. So. We have
not so much pressure. Of course, I don't have a lot to lose.
True enough.
I can only.
Here's Sasha's interview. Let's take a listen.
I'm here to win the championship, not to finish P2 or P3. So to have a good result, good qualifying, this is very important. You know, those 3 points in qualifying, it's very important for the championship also. So yeah, no pressure, not at all. It's been a long time since the last time I was fighting for a championship. So of course, it feels nice. Mm-hmm. It's extra motivation. But as I say, I'm just very excited for this weekend.
Thank you. Excellent stuff. And he's got it all to play for. 81 points to Nojiri's 113. We just saw the graphic for the first 10, the Group A that'll go out. That includes, of course, Fenestrez there on your screen. And Terasuke Makino, Sasahara, Kunimoto, Sekiguchi, Aleshi, Sakamoto, Matsumoto, Sato, and Oyu will make up that group of 10, and they're just about to start. And go ahead, JP. What are your thoughts on this group as they head out?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's you know, first time out in the morning, so this group, you know, has the track conditioning a little bit more green compared to the second group. So, you know, we have some strong contenders here, but yeah, we'll have to wait and see. I mean, this is you know, you see everybody coming out. We'll see if they go and come out and change tires after one outing again, as they usually have been doing through the season. But they have to warm up the tires well this time, as a bit cooler than what's been the usual.
So do you think that they would end up taking 2 laps to warm up the tires rather than 1? Or is that a usable strategy, considering it is much cooler than the last time we were here?
Yeah, I think this is down to each driver. You know, if they feel like they can warm up in just the out lap, then they will go for, you know, trying to get that crispiness from the bite of the new tire. But if they're not feeling too confident and the tire pressure is not exactly at where they want towards the end of sector 3 and 4 before the attack lap, then they will have to wait another lap. So it's a tricky one. You know, we see here Sasha, obviously he needs a good result. He needs to be on pole. He hopes to be on pole. So it will be yeah, it will be interesting. He was strong in free practice yesterday, so I believe he's on a, you know, one of the favorites here in this group.
Sure. Yeah, we'll have to keep a close eye on him, absolutely. And just to explain to those of you less familiar with how this works, qualifying is set up. There's Q1 and Q2, and there are groups A and B. Q1 Group A is currently underway, and the top 6 from this group of 10 will advance to Q2. And of course the same for Group B in Q1 as well, so that at the end we will have a battle for the top 12 positions in Q2 And then, of course, the finishers, or at least the qualifiers who finish below those top 12 spots, will be organized in aggregate from Group A and Group B from positions 13 through 21. Explain more about that later in the session. Of course, in the point system, a maximum of 3 points can be gained in qualifying for pole position, 2 points for second place, and 1 for third. So we'll be looking very closely at how people finish up. Granted, Nojiri is well out ahead, but every single point matters.
Exactly. You see a few cars here coming into the pits just to change tires, and other cars already seem to be out on their qualifying tires, and yeah, just waving and trying to warm up those tires as much as they can, and then they'll probably start their attack lap the next time around.
And of course, this lap itself is about 95 seconds, 96, 97 seconds, let's call it, at the current fuel flow. And 96, 97 seconds, there aren't that many of those that you can do in a 10-minute session. So it takes a lot longer to get around here than it does Hugo, for example.
Exactly. Yeah. Suzuka is a long lap. The out lap and the in lap, you know, it takes nearly 4 minutes for you to complete. So 10-minute session, basically 1 or 2 attack laps. Ideally, just 1.
Ideally, just 1. Good. Here we've got the points ranking on your screen there for all of you. 20, 15, 11, 8, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, back down to 0. Well, the top 10 obviously score points, and the gap between first and second is 5 points, then the gap is 4 points, 3 points, 2 points, and so on. So you can see what they're doing, and you can see what they're aiming at there. Obviously, the higher up, the greater the reward, and the bigger the gap between machine positions in terms of points earned. So we're at the, let's call it the 6-minute mark. A few people have come back in, as you say, JP, and are waiting to head out. What do you think the strategy will be at around the 4.5-minute mark to go out, put in a banker lap, and have another one, have enough time to do another if need be, or what do you think?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I see, you know, they seem not to be too worried about the tire warm-up, as some of the cars actually went for a 2-lap warm-up, and then they came in for a fresh set of tires now. So I think they're comfortable with an out lap and go. We'll have to wait and see. I don't know.
Fishta is out first.
Yeah, let's see who tries this first.
Yeah. And it looks like Sasha is next as they head down the pit lane, and this will be very interesting. And who comes in between them? Is that OU in the 65? It might be Yamamoto in the 64 machine. So they're starting to come out now. We're at the 5-minute mark, and this time will, of course, elapse very quickly. These last few minutes always do.
Yeah, and traffic always an issue, you know, like from now, as you can see, everybody heading out at the same timing. So this is a bit troublesome on the out lap, because you want to put, you know, temperature on those tires, and if you have someone behind you wanting to go faster, you tend to try to protect and go faster as well. So you can't exactly warm the tires as well or as precisely as you wish, because you always have that added pressure of someone trying to gain your track position. This is also a case where we've seen in Formula 1, you know, in the last sector of before the attack lap, drivers going and passing the driver who's waiting to try and start the attack lap. So this is always an issue with these cars with too much downforce.
Right, exactly. And yeah, you have to have a certain amount of distance between the cars too. Fascinating. We're down to under the 4-minute mark, and for those of you who want to know it, the track record here for Super Formula machine, granted on the old 95 kilograms of fuel flow, which was the original restriction, but it has been reduced to 90 for this season. But at 95 kilograms an hour fuel flow, the track record was taken by Nick Cassidy back in round 6 in 2020, a 1:34.442. A blindingly quick, oh, there it's on your screen, how appropriate. There you go. A blindingly quick time, don't you think?
That is very, very quick indeed. Yeah, I mean, to compare with F1 times, which are around 29 to I think 28 maybe in qualifying. But I mean, in a track like Suzuka, which you need so much downforce, it's really so impressive to see cars like this being only 6 seconds away from current F1 cars. You know, it's amazing.
It is amazing, yeah, absolutely.
On one of the highest downforce racetracks on the calendar. You know, so
Yeah,
very
absolutely.
impressive. So they,
And even a few years. Yeah, go on.
so yeah, you can see here, it feels like yeah, they're all gonna go for a second attack lap. So I think this lap is all about getting yourself in the right position.
Yeah, here we're looking at Sekiguchi coming down to start his attack lap now. It was 2:27 on the board.
So the times are gonna come all when the monitor has finished, the laptop, the time has
Absolutely,
already shut. So
yeah, he's not on an attack lap yet, weaving like that, definitely not. But you're right, it'll all come down in the last few seconds and the 60 seconds after the clock goes out. Looking at Satoru Nakajima there, the boss of PCS Nakajima Racing, one of the most successful teams in open wheel motorsport in Japan over the decades. And of course, and that's why it's so popular for a guy like Yamamoto to take that win in round 7. Just amazing. I mean, back in the day, it was Nakajima winning half the races most seasons, right? But it was like that for Toms too, and it's not that way for Toms this year. But these things are all cyclical, and they do change, they do come back around. So, but the real giant teams, they always come back, such as Toms and Nakajima Racing. And if my eyes are not lying, that is Oyu in the number 65 car. Yep.
Yeah, Oyu had the fastest time in free practice yesterday, and by quite a margin. So he looked very, very strong yesterday. Let's follow this lap. So approaching turn 1 here, just so much speed carrying into there. You don't want to have any moment here, turn 2 into the S's. At this time of the year, it just feels so fast because you have that cold air and there's so much downforce generated in these conditions. And then you go into the Dunlop corner here, flat out, left-hander. Up the hill you go, and then into Degner corners. The first one blind. Can't touch the curb on the inside there, it will throw you off. And then get a good exit here towards the hairpin. Coming to the hairpin, it's very important here to nail the braking. You see the flames on the brakes there as he brakes for the hairpin. Come out, and he comes into this section after the hairpin and between the spoon corners. Here, very high speed entry, and then here as well is a place where the car wants to understeer and go off. And you see the car behind. That's Makino. Makino having fast sector times. So
yeah, he's up at the split. Well,
yeah, he is on a very good lap, Makino. And you see Oyu.
Excellent. Let's see. Does he eclipse Sekiguchi? He does.
Indeed, Makino is 0.4 of a second faster than Oyu on his attack lap.
Comes Finestras. What will he end up with?
So Sasha P5 at the moment, but other cars have to cross. So yeah. He is at risk here.
Already. He really is at risk. Will Sekiguchi do better than him? It's possible. Alesi ends up 7th.
We have Kunimoto Sekiguchi crossing. So Sekiguchi,
yeah, he's up in 4th. Not surprising.
Sekiguchi's up in 4th, so that drops Fenestras to 8th place.
Which will put him 15th on the grid. Because he won't advance the Q2, so this is disastrous for him.
That is a big damage for him, for his chances this weekend, because he was actually P3 yesterday in free practice, and he had high hopes. But you know, these things happen in Super Formula. Sometimes you're strong on Friday, and the car just doesn't feel right on Saturday. So you see the team here looks a bit confused. It's all about just one attack lap. So, you know, this things can happen in Super Formula. Just things can turn around in just one day.
Yeah, exactly, and it's one lap, as you say, and it's if one thing happens, it's a few tenths, and that's everything. Or it could be a few tenths, and that's everything, or it could be. So, agreed.
Exactly. Yeah. So his time was 37.65, and he needed a 37.50 to come in to Q2. So obviously just 1.5 tenths. So here, you know, 1.5 tenth can be many little things, but just a little bit of losing traction on the exit of the hairpin or something like that, or the chicane, and there you go. That's 1.5 tenths. So yeah, that's gonna be a tough weekend. I mean, a tough start to the weekend for him.
It's the blink of an eye. And do you notice, JP, there's smoke coming out of the back of the number 4 machine? Is that just oil blow by or something? I mean, it seemed more than you would normally see, but there you go.
No, I mean, I did not notice that, but yeah, I mean, if anything, we'll probably hear from the team after the session, but I do believe there were no issues in there.
Yeah, great. Now we're looking at the results and the times and the differences between those top 10. We'll come up to Group B in just a moment, and we will have Yo Hirakawa's interview prior to that, and that should be queuing up right now.
シーズンの初めはすごくいい形でスタートはしたんですけども、サッシャと同じで、優勝か2位かリタイアかみたいなシーズンで、なかなか安定したシーズンではなかったとは思いますけど、こうやってしっかりと最終戦までチャンピオン争いに残れているので、しっかりと諦めずに残りの2戦戦いたいと思います。自分としては予選ですごい苦労しているので、しっかりとそこで明日明後日で発揮できると準備してきたので、そこに対しての楽しみはありますね。
まずはじゃあ予選がプレッシャーって感じですか？
予選はかなりプレッシャーですね。
Great stuff. Just to paraphrase what he said there, that he felt he was off to a good start at the start of the season there, but it got unstable throughout the season. His results were either wins, second places, or retirements. And he felt that he struggled, or he has struggled in qualifying throughout the season from time to time. Wants to do well for qualifying for the last 2 rounds and aim for good results. Of course he does. We're looking at the 11 guys in Group B here, led by our championship leader, Tomoki Nojiri, and the other 10 behind. I won't read out all the names to you, you can see them there, but this is the group of 11 that will now attack and try to eclipse the times of Group A. It will be a 10-minute session, just like the first one, and let's see who opts to go out first and lead the group. The bell's just gone, and we're counting down.
So will obviously be interesting to see how much progress Nojiri makes from yesterday, given that he struggled so much yesterday. We also have Hirakawa in this group. Hirakawa, seeing that result from Sasha in Q1, will be aiming to have a strong result here so he can put himself in a better contention for the weekend ahead of Sasha and put the fight to Nojiri himself. And we also have Miyata, who has had a strong season so far. Yamamoto, obviously, who had a very strong last time around at Motegi. So I would say these are the guys I'm looking for in this group.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, it's a good group. So, and that is, it's Kobayashi? No, it's his teammate. It is Kobayashi, excuse me. Kunoda was out before. Bringing up the rear of the group as we see them go around to, that's Degner 2, excuse me. There we are. And the driver standings on your screen for reference. So it's really only about these top 3 guys, Nojiri, Nestraz, and Hirakawa, as we've said before. But with Hirakawa in this group, now if he was to really do well and of course go right through and get pole, obviously he's 2 points behind Finestraz, so it's not going to be quite as, he needs the points even more than Sasha.
Yeah, for sure. What we see here is Kenta coming out a little bit later than the group.
That is Hirakawa leading the group. We're still at the 8-minute mark, so he won't be setting a time lap anytime soon. He's just gauging things, and this would be his first full lap anyway.
Yeah, so what he's doing here, he's just checking. I mean, perhaps they might have changed something in the car from yesterday, so he has one half attack lap, and then he will come in at the end of this lap. So he starts this lap and he checks the car balance. If they did change something from yesterday, he will have a feeling. They might have a minute to make another change if he needs anything. Put the new tire and go. So as you can see, you know, it's a very short time. The drivers have to maximize their opportunity here to, you know, use this 10-minute very well, this 10-minute session very well. You have to warm up the tires quickly and then quickly get a feel of the car, and whilst still coming into the pits very quickly to change tires.
Exactly, yeah. That 10 minutes comes down very quickly. We're looking right now at the number 12 machine of Nirei Fukuzumi, the 3-brand Drago course machine. It's back, and that is Kobayashi just behind him in the number 7 KCMG car. So we've got a few people coming back in, pretty much a mirror of the first of the Group A session. They get their lap in. They work out what the conditions are at this moment, and they come back and put on a new set of boots for a proper qualifying lap. We're looking at Ryo Hirakawa now, coming up to 130R, and the blast down to the chicane.
Into the pits he goes. This also put you know, the heat on the brakes. So now when he puts on the fresh set of tires, those brakes that are at temperature, they will start to warm up those tires from the inner side. So it's the most ideal warm up. So it will be much easier for him to warm up these tires now compared to the first outing when the brakes were cool.
Right, and he's got the assistance of those up to temperature brakes to help him. That's amazing, fascinating. Here he is, our points leader, Tomoki Nojiri, in the pits, getting ready to go back out. As we say, a 32-point advantage and 23 points up for grabs today, and of course an equal amount, 23 tomorrow as well.
Yeah, Nojiri has been so strong in qualifyings, and you know, it's unlikely for him to be so far down like yesterday. So obviously, you know, maybe too relaxed, or we'll have to wait and see the end of this this session. But very unusual to see him in the end there.
Sure. Agreed. And yeah, we'll know all in 5 or 6 minutes, though, definitely. And I would expect, judging by his consistency all season, that he will come up toward the top, if not grabbing pole. But that's for later to see. But I would be surprised if he ended up with a result much like Sasha ended up with 10 minutes ago.
Absolutely.
Red JP.
Yes,
Hey, Leah, go ahead. Tell us what's going on in the pit lane.
Oh no, I talked to Nojiri after pre-practice yesterday, and then he reported that his car had an understeer problem, and he didn't change the setting much from round 3 Suzuka, but car reacted totally different this time, and but it was yesterday, so they of course fixed the program for today. So let's see how it goes. Back to you.
Interesting, thanks. Yeah, fascinating. So a little setup change perhaps, and maybe he's more confident with the car today.
Yeah, interesting, Len, because you know what happens is because the temperature has changed, you know, obviously much cooler now. The car produces more downforce, and what happens is the downforce actually goes more towards the rear of the car. So it's indeed a factor that when it's cooler, you start to have the car understeering more. If you have a car that's well balanced in the hotter condition, then in the cooler condition, it will probably understeer more, as you have bigger tires on the rear, you have more downforce on the rear. So then that tends to be a trend when the cooler air temperature.
fascinating. Well, we'll see how that plays out here today because, of course, it is much cooler. It's 24 degrees centigrade, which is about 70 degrees Fahrenheit, I believe, and 75 maybe. That is a lot cooler than it was 30 degrees Fahrenheit, 30 degrees Celsius back the last time we were here, and 6 degrees centigrade, that's what? That's 20 degrees Fahrenheit or something like that. So it's a big difference. Obviously, a totally different season of the year, too. So here we go. We're down to about a quarter of the session remaining. These drivers are weaving to get more heat into their tires, and as a result, better grip, better performance. That is Kenta Yamashita coming through our screen right now in the number 3 machine. And here is, it must be, it's Hitomo Miyata in the second of Tom's cars.
We see an overtake here on Nojiri on the warm-up lap. See, some drivers, you know, they're a bit more aggressive warming up the tires, and others instead they just want to keep that, you know, that perfect crispiness of the tire for the attack lap. And Suzuka, ideally, you know, you want to conserve your new tire towards the beginning of the lap because that's when you need it the most, especially in the S's. You want to have that tire biting as much as possible at that section of the track, which is so high speed, and you need all the grip you can get there.
As they weave around, this will be, I suppose he'll be starting his attack, he'll have to start his attack lap when he comes through this time, judging by what's left on the clock. He'd never make it around again.
He will need to leave a gap here, and this is something that happens. You see the driver behind also leaving the gap, so they all start to leave that gap, and then sometimes it happens that someone just comes flat out and overtakes them. Hopefully that's not the case here today, but we see that's flying laps getting started, underway.
And here he is, our championship leader, straight as an arrow, as he makes his way into turn 1. And the S's. As you were saying, JP, of course, incredibly important that the tires bite. As a driver, I mean, if you don't have that, you just cannot place the confidence in the car, and you just cannot have the pace.
Yeah, exactly. That's. I mean, you need to have that perfect grip level into this section here, because you trust the car, and you got to be trusting the tires as well. Here you go, Nojiri. A good, strong sector 1.
Super clean.
Looking good into this section of the track. He's slightly quicker than Yamamoto at this time in sectors 1 and 2. Hirakawa as well, just 1/10 of a second faster than Yamamoto in sector 2 at the moment.
And will Hirakawa, oh, so Yamamoto has gone the quickest in sector 3, but will Hirakawa eclipse that?
Hirakawa going faster in sector 3, so Yamamoto going faster in sector 3 compared to Nojiri going faster than Yamamoto at the moment.
Oh yeah, he did just get the purple sector. And here's Nojiri with a 1:30. 36.9. Good. That's right around where we were thinking things would be. So great. And Yamamoto second, 1:37.289.
There goes Hirakawa.
Hirakawa, of course, eclipses the pair of them. 1:36.866. This is Schultz coming through, and he eclipses even Hirakawa. Well done. This is not for pole position, of course. This is for the top of the group. And Yamashita ends up 6th. So he's done well. I'll wait until the last cars come through, and this is it's Miyata.
Miyata going top now.
Look at that, amazing. So, do you think that's because it's rubbering in? It's advantageous to go later or to be later on track?
That can be a slight advantage, but I wouldn't say it's everything. I mean, you know, Miyata, you know, he has been strong this season. I wouldn't be surprised that he gets to the last round peaking compared to some of the other drivers. A very, very good qualifying from Miyata here. But most importantly, Hirakawa, Yamamoto going through. Oh, Hirakawa and Nojiri going through. Sorry.
Exactly, yeah. And our first and third place contenders in the drivers' fight. So fascinating. Now we will have a short break after this. We'll have a 5-minute break, and then we'll go into the Q2 sessions, of which, of course, the top 6 in each of these groups will go. So looking forward to that. Interesting indeed to see where they've ended up. And we are about 2.2 seconds behind that lap record of Nick Cassidy 2 years ago under there was a greater fuel flow rate, of course, so greater horsepower, more speed, obviously lower times. But at the current 90 kilograms fuel flow per hour, this is a very quick pace. I mean, we've reduced nearly 5% from the 95 kilograms per fuel flow per hour to 90, yet lap times have only dropped about 2%, whereas there's been a power decrease of 5%, just over 5%. But that's a little bit anarakish maybe for most people. But anyway, we see our results here with Itomo Miyata leading the board at 136.692. Followed by Sho Tsugoi and Ryo Hirakawa. Our series leader, Tomoki Nojiri, is fourth with a 136.931. The red line beneath Naoki Yamamoto's name is the cutoff. So Miyake, Otsu, Yamashita, Kobayashi, and Oshima will not be going through. Their grid positions have already been decided. Once this little break finishes, we'll be back with Q2, and we'll take a look and see how that shapes up.
So an important result for Hirakawa here. He puts himself through, and he's in a good position at the moment. To put the fight to Nojiri. Nojiri obviously, just behind him there in P4 in this group. So we'll have to wait and see the Q2 to see whether he can, put himself ahead of Nojiri on the grid.
Yeah, and I suppose it's for Nojiri, it must be a great stress release to not have, of course he's got Hirakawa behind him, but to not have Sasha as well. I mean, that has taken a large part of the threat away, and he's probably feeling pretty positive. Looking through the Impul garage, this is of course Hirakawa's machine, the number 20 car. And I wonder, who do you think will end up, I mean, it's impossible to say, but do you think that Nojiri can continue this consistency he's shown all year? I mean, he's what, 1 win, 2 seconds, 3 third places, 2 fourth places. Incredible. So do you think he can put it at the top of the grid today?
Yeah, Nojiri has been the master of getting it right in Q2, right? So obviously we expect him, and given the situation from yesterday and today, he has reversed that situation. I mean, he put himself in a much better position today. So I believe, he feels more confident today, and perhaps he can once again fight for pole. We've seen a very strong lap from Miyata, so I think Miyata looking very confident after Q1, and Hirakawa as well, for sure, being very, very motivated to take that spot, good spot on the grid.
Yeah, because it's not all done and dusted. I mean, Nojiri is very, 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 very close to winning his second title on the trot, but it's not all there yet. I mean, he's 32 points ahead, but he needs to be, at the end of today, after not just qualifying, but after the race, he needs to be 24 points ahead of his nearest rival. And that would mean Hirakawa scoring 8 or fewer points, and him with a full complement of points. So it's still all to play for, but definitely the advantage is for Nojiri, and we expect him to do very well in this Q2 session coming up. We'll listen to Tanaka-san, the Team Boss of Team Mugen for this moment.
そうですね、昨日の練習走行ではね、なかなかちょっとタイムを出すことができなくて、ちょっと持ってきたセットがね、よく合わなかったということもあって、ちょっと今日予選に向けてすごい不安だったんですけども、ドライバー、エンジニアがね、一生懸命修正してくれて、なんとか Q2 にね、2台とも進めたので、これはもうちょっとね、微調整をして、もっと上にね、いけるといいかなと思ってます。
野尻選手はポールポジション4回も今シーズン取っているということで Q2 に向けて田中監督からの意気込みありましたらお願いします。
そうですね、ポールポジションを取るっていうのはね、本当そう簡単なことではないので、本当大変なことでもありますし、取ってほしいですけども、チャンピオンに向けてね、この勢いでね、守りじゃなく攻めでね、本当にポールポジションを取るような勢いで戦ってほしいと思います。
はい、今週末の流れを決める予選 Q2 楽しみにしています。はい、ありがとうございます。
はい、ありがとうございます。
以上です。
That's the interview of team boss Tanaka-san from Team Mugen. And are we getting an interpretation from Leah? Thank you.
Yeah, that was a director from Mugen, Director Tanaka, and he said he was glad that his two cars go to Q2 today. And yesterday, FP free practice wasn't so good for the team. The setting they brought wasn't really matched yesterday, and the mechanics and the engineers did the adjustment last night, and it went pretty well today. And it is not easy to make pole position every time, but Tanaka was expecting no pressure for Nojiri and a mega championship for today. Back to you.
Great stuff. Thanks for sharing. Excellent stuff. So Q2 is about to start. I guess, are we going to see Hirakawa's lap? Here, let's take a look and take a look at his perfect lap around here from just a few minutes ago.
Yeah, so just approaching turn 1 here, you see very smooth movements on the steering wheel, just slight movements here in the S's. Important to stay on one line, try to carry as much speed as you can here, going through Kakbunk and then flat out through Degner, up the hill towards Degner. This is a very difficult corner here. We're looking from the upper angle, but from the driver's angle is a blind turn in, and then coming into the hairpin here, gotta nail the braking point. Very difficult to get the apex right here every time. If you turn in, try to get the apex, sometimes you feel like you turn in a little early. So that's why you see drivers usually taking a wider line there. And then coming into the spoon corner here, very high speed. Keep the speed into the second part of the corner, and then using that curb on the outside as much as you can, going into 130R here as a flat out easy flat for these cars these days. And then here it's all about nailing the braking point, just clipping that curb on the inside just a little bit. You don't want to upset the car too much, getting a good exit. And drivers tend to just come into the inside line here just to try and cut, make the lap a little bit shorter.
Even if it's just a few
see that, yeah, you see that in Formula 1, you see that in GT, you see everyone just coming out of the chicane and then just trying to hug the inside of the wall as much as you can. That may cut the lap by a few centimeters maybe.
Everything counts, absolutely. So we see we are already into the session. It's a 7-minute session, and it has already started ticking down. You can see the list of the 12 drivers on your screen there, and of course both of the Nakajima Racing cars are in the top 12. That's good to see. But it's the title protagonists up at the front, Nojiri and of course Hirakawa, who we are most interested in. But of course there could be a couple of other really fast guys. I mean, we mustn't leave Sasahara out of this. He is a strong qualifier. It doesn't always translate in the races, but he has been a strong qualifier. And of course Miyata as well. So do you think there's someone that can throw the cat among the pigeons here?
I'll go out on a limb here and I'll say Oyu will get this pole, but you know, I think yeah, he can be a big surprise. But I see, you know, Miyata also being very strong after Q1, and And obviously Nojiri, with all that experience that he has to get it right in Q2, all his track record shows that. So we're in for a good session.
I think we are, absolutely, yeah. And it'll be very exciting toward the end. And it's unpredictable, which of course is what we want. But I'd say probably Nojiri will end up, well, we hope, fairly strong. But it's still all to play for. You know, he's not going to win the title by scoring pole position. But he could edge closer, definitely.
Yeah, so 5 minutes. This session is a bit shorter than Q1. So they all go out on a fresh set of tires from the start.
Right, they don't have time to go out, come back in and go out again, of course. You can see them, the stickers on the tires there as they rotate.
There goes
Speaking of pole positions here at Suzuka, the last 5 poles at Suzuka, well, in 2022, of course, it was Nojiri back in round 3. Back in 2021 for round 7, it was Matsushita who took pole. Okazumi was on pole in 2021 in round 2. Nick Cassidy, of course, that famous lap in round 6 of 2020. And prior to him, it was, again, Naoki Yamamoto in round 5 in 2020, who was on pole. So as you said, I mean, oh, look at that. Anyway, these guys are, these guys are the ones that we really expect to do well in the session. And just reading a note there while I'm speaking. Thanks, folks. This should be most exciting as things come down to the wire. It should be noted that among the teams, for doubleheader race weekends, there is a total of 80 points on offer. And obviously 3-2-1 for qualifying does not apply to the teams, only to drivers, but a 2-car team, of which there are 9 in Super Formula and 3 1-car teams, making up the 21 entries. These 2-car teams can score a total of 80 points, so they can certainly turn their season around in a doubleheader weekend if things go very well. We'll have to see how that pans out this weekend, but as we say, Team Mugen are well out in front, nearly 40 points, probably 40 points ahead of their nearest rivals. So they are more than likely going to take the team's title. But when it comes to the drivers, that's still up to play for. Well, they both are at this moment. But now we're down at the 2 minutes 45 mark. We won't have much to go now. When these guys come back around again, they will be on their attack lap, most definitely.
So here in the warm-up lap, you see drivers still taking it easy through sectors 1, 2, and then from sector 3 you start to take up the speed a little bit further, and then try to put that pressure and temperature just at the right spot so that you can start the lap. So the maximum, the perfect grip level of the tires, it will be felt probably sector 1 and 2, and then that's where ideally you want the tire to peak.
And of course, to make it through to the end of the lap, not to run out of performance before you get there.
Yeah, absolutely. These tires have a kind of a narrow window for their peak, though. So that's why it's so important to put them in the right pressure, in the right temperature, in the right moment.
And this must be Toshiki Oyu, I believe, in the 65 machine, and he will most definitely, and also is this, I can't see that Ex Machina, of course, and Nojiri also on his attack lap. So let's see how things pan out for these guys when they come around. Beautiful into the S's there by Nojiri. Textbook lap so far.
So both Yamamoto and Makino very quick through sector 1, faster than they've been in Q1. And Nojiri is slightly quicker than them at the moment, so track conditions going faster.
It is. That's just beautiful. Yeah, it is. They are definitely improving on the live timing. There's definitely improvement.
And now Oyu going faster in Sector 2, slightly slower in Sector 1 compared to Nojiri, but faster in Sector 2.
Quickest overall so far in Sector 2, that's right. Look at that.
You see the rear just wants to step out there, and just on the exit there, they're using all the track he can. And Nojiri here trying to get another pole position to his record.
Will it be, what's it, his 4th pole of the season?
A very, very good Sector 3 for Nojiri. This could be another pole for him.
It's certainly looking very quick so far.
He's definitely going to grab that top at the moment. So you see him coming down the straight now, and it's a 36.0. That is fast. That is very fast, Glenn. He's going to be on pole on this one.
Yeah.
That's my feeling at the moment. The only one that can match him at the moment is Miyata. Miyata is still in Sector 3. Miyata is coming through at the moment.
Yeah.
Is Miyata going to take it?
Not quite, but very close.
Very, very close. Yeah, still 2/10 away.
Here comes Hirakawa. Come on, come on.
Where is Hirakawa going to go? Oh, Hirakawa is only P8.
P8, unfortunate.
Yeah, that's not fast enough, but...
Asahara 5th, nearly half a second behind his teammate. But we've got Sekiguchi just coming across the line now. And he is in 7th. Okay, so... Ren Sato comes 9th. Hirakawa's fallen to 11th. Ooh.
Yeah, not an ideal session for Hirakawa. I expected more of him in this session, but one interesting thing that I noticed here between Nojiri and Miyata is that Miyata was up on Nojiri until Sector 3. He was faster than him, but just coming to Sector 4, Nojiri took 3/10 out of Miyata in the chicane alone. So either Miyata made a mistake there, or Nojiri is just super, super fast through the chicane. So either one of the two, but yeah, Miyata obviously looking very strong into that final sector.
Most definitely, and Nojiri has just basically laid waste to his rivals in terms of where he's ended up and where they both have ended up.
Yeah, so Nojiri, remember, he needs 15 points today to clinch the title. So yeah, so this puts him in a very comfortable position, given his closest rival is now Hirakawa is only P11, so he is in a perfect position.
He really is. I mean, this has been an amazingly good session for him. But again, it's that consistency that he keeps showing. 4th pole position. Nobody else has scored 4 poles from the now 9 rounds this season. So, yeah, he's not just consistent. He's consistently at the top. And this is everything. So, great result.
When it comes down to when it matters, you know, it's there are many more factors than a free practice session, for example, because you got the traffic, you know, you get that track that is rubbering in towards the end of the session, and you got to make use of that. You got to know that the condition is getting faster and that you have to go a little bit faster. You have to trust the car a little bit more. You have to throw it in a little bit more. So these are the things that Nojiri is so good at. You know, when it comes to Q2, he really knows, he understands the track condition changing. He understands that he can take it a little bit up a notch, and that's what he does every time.
It's just amazing. I mean, the true mark of a champion, you know, it's this, as I said, the consistency, it's just constant. He's always there. He's always on it. It's amazing to me that both of his rivals fell by the wayside so quickly and so consummately. I mean, I guess Sasha will start about 15th, 14th, 15th, somewhere in there. And of course, Hirakawa will start 11th. So he's that threat, his immediate threat, is gone in terms of the Drivers' Championship. his new threat will be people like Miyata and so on, other guys who are quick. And but still, in terms of getting everything set up for him to take his second title today, not tomorrow, he couldn't have done better.
No, and he has shown this, champion mentality today because obviously, yesterday you look at Sasha in P3 yesterday and Hirakawa in P5, and Nojiri was only down in P16, and he seemed a little concerned, but today he just shows up and do this, and does this, So obviously, this is what a champion does. You show up on the track,
right.
and you get down to business when exactly it matters. So
exactly, and that's what he's done. And of course, he's up on 116 points now. Don't forget, his nearest rival, Sasha, is 35 points away from him now, not 32. So the gap, the chasm, opens even more. It's looking very positive for Nojiri ahead of the race, which will take place in approximately 4.5 hours time. So we're very excited about that. Obviously, weather conditions are not going to change that much, and it could be a real stomping afternoon for the Mugen driver.
Now we see Hirakawa here seems to be disappointed. A disappointing session for him for sure, considering he was stronger in Q1 compared to Q2. So maybe something hasn't worked, or just not comfortable in Q2. We have an interview coming up.
It's odd. We've got interviews coming up in just a moment. Here we go. This is Nojiri.
おめでとうございます。
ありがとうございます。
やりましたね。
そうですね、昨日すごい不調だったんで、走行終わった後ずっと夜遅くまでチームと一緒にミーティングしてて、で僕がホテルに帰ってからもうチームのみんな一生懸命もっと詰められるとこないかっていうところで、かなりいい車に仕上げてもらったんで、いやもう本当に、なんか昨日の不調からここまで来れると正直思ってないところもあったんで、本当夢のようというか、ただ地に足つけてこの先戦わないといけないんで、しっかりもう一回引き締め直して決勝戦いたいなと思います。
Q1 から Q2 に向けてもマシンのアジャストあったように見えましたが、このアタックラップどのように、走られていましたか。マシンのフィーリングなども教えていただけると嬉しいです。
アタックラップとしてはですね、ちょっと Q1 から Q2 の間で僕自身、どこら辺をターゲットにしていっていいか、ポールを狙うべきなのか、今ある現状の中でまとめて、4、5番手ぐらいをまとめていくべきなのか、非常に難しいところで、ただそこをね、エンジニアの一エンジニアが、いやもうこいつダメだったら俺のせいだからって言って、もういろいろ変えてってくれて、なんかその言葉を聞いて、僕はすごい思いっきりプッシュしなきゃなと思って、必死に自分の力を出し切れたかなと思います。
またチャンピオンに一歩近づいた予選でした。明日の決勝レースに向けて意気込みもお願いします。
そうですね、昨日の状況からねちょっと流れを失いそうだったところもあったんですけど、なんとかまたこっちに戻せたかなっていうところもあるんで、決勝もしっかりとできればね優勝がいいですけど、僕の目標は今チャンピオンを取ることなんで、しっかりそこを見て、戦いたいなと思います。
はい、見事今シーズン5度目のポールポジション、野尻智樹選手おめでとうございます。
ありがとうございます。また決勝も応援してください。
ありがとうございました。以上です。
Hey, Ranger P.
Hey, Leah.
Yeah.
That was a pole position driver, Nojiri. He got a fifth pole position of this year just now, and he said he felt not so good last night, and not so good during the free practice yesterday. But team stayed at night and worked well, and he wasn't really expecting this good today, and he could rely on engineer 100%, engineer each set, and so. He's saying he kind of felt the good momentum right now, so his target will be wrapping up the championship after the race. This race. Back to you.
Great stuff. Good news indeed. And exactly what you'd expect him to say. So it's all to play for, and Nojiri will start out front, and this race takes place in approximately 4.5 hours and should be monumentally exciting. If things go as the way we expect they will, Nojiri will walk away with it, and he will take the driver's title with ease. Some closing thoughts, JP?
Well, yeah, confirmation from Nojiri's side, obviously, reaffirming what a strong season he's had, especially in qualifying. I mean, his qualifying average must be 1 or 2. I mean, it's unbelievable. He's been that strong. Yeah, I mean, we expect him to be a bit conservative in the race, as he was mentioning. He wasn't, he doesn't seem to be too focused on taking victory here. It's more about the championship. So, I mean, the other guys are going to need some kind of miracle starting so far back.
Indeed, indeed. Yeah, it looks like more of the same, more of the dominance that he showed. Well, he showed it last year too, of course, but especially so this year. He has just been a true champion. It's wonderful to see, absolutely. So we've just got not much more time left in our broadcast here, folks, but it should be a most exciting race coming to us in about 4 hours' time, round 9 of 10. And of course, then we've got round 10 tomorrow, though we expect the title will be decided later today. So these doubleheader weekends, they're busy, they're exciting, they're frenetic, and we invite you to join us for the race later on today, and of course, qualifying and round 10, the final round, tomorrow during their times. And we'll take a look at the points now. As you see, Nojiri is up to 116, fully 35 points ahead of Sasha Fenestras and 37 points ahead of Ryo Hirakawa. Nobody else has a mathematical chance of taking the Drivers' Championship at this point. So we've just about gotten through the broadcast. Thank you all for viewing in, coming in from around the world to take a look. We will be coming back to you in about 4 hours and 10 minutes time for the live broadcast. But in the meantime, this has been official qualifying for round 9 of the 2022 Super Formula Series. And we are so happy to have you visiting us from all around the world and checking in. We will be back again soon. Thanks to JP and pit reporter Liam Ismura. This has been Len Clark. We will see you at the race in just a few hours' time.